As a small biz pro, and so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal. and we got
and Coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic. And today, folks, looks like we're on a delayed track here today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Glad you're here.
We want to say happy Women's Business Month, guys, and Women's History Month, Women's Business Month, all that good stuff. And as you know, here on the Business Zone, we love to promote our female entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the things that women businesses can do to help themselves, and also performances that they've been doing in the marketplace, and they've been star performers. So just before we do that, I just want to bring in my official woman business owner, entrepreneur extraordinaire, my co-host, no other than Crystal Mitchell.
Hey everyone, we should have a guest today. We're hopefully she will pop in, and that guest is she's actually a filmmaker. Her name is Tani Sylvester. So hopefully she's gotten all the information celebrating, and that's a hard space, right? So we have a number of Black women now that are really making their claim for greatness in the film industry. And so especially as filmmakers and directors and producers and so forth. So hopefully she does, because that's just it's just an amazing place right now. You have Ava DuVernay that's just killing it out there, and there's a number of other actresses and actresses that now have become directors. So I would love for that to happen, but if not, then we'll just go with what we got to go with. That's how we'll do that. But
see, the thing on this show, folks, and I'm sure we're going to go over protocols and all of that in a little bit, but on this show, I just want to let you all know that we are very flexible. We're very versatile. We make things happen when you least expect. And it looks like we got our guest popping up here.
And she's here. Hello.
In our green. But before we do that, guys, I know a lot of you have been yearning and wondering about this. Can you hear me, Crystal? Can you hear me, Crystal?
I can. Something's happening. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, you can hear me now. Okay, good. I can hear you. So, folks, I know you've been watching our show every week, and you've been wondering about my co-host. So just before we bring on our guest, I want to put her on the spot. I want to do an interview with her real quickly, so she can tell you guys who she is, what she's about.
Before we do that,
I want to before we do that.
No. I want to set the tone for what we're talking about today. First of all, everyone, women, happy Women's International Day. Today is actually the official day, March 8th. It is the day where we're selling women around the world, globally, on being just incredibly phenomenal individuals. And in a world where women seem to be, we seem to be at war with men right now, not of our own accord, but it appears that we are that way. So
men have not been at war with the women, folks. We just want to let you know that we haven't been. So we want to come to a truce. Hopefully this Women's History Month will help us come to a truce, because we love our women. We want to make sure we support and guide them and take them to the promised land, lead them to the promised land. So, So we're gonna use this month, guys, to eradicate all of those rumors.
All those rumors, huh? Okay, rumors. But let me kick off our show. Hey, Greg, welcome there. And our guest is in the green room. Excited to have her to talk to her. But let me kick off our show in honor of Women's History Month, another favorite month of mine. Of course, last month was Black History Month. So now we're celebrating women. But let's kick it off with a poem by Asha Islam, and it's called "Let's Fly Together." So this is for the sisters. I have my sister shirt on today. Let's flap our wings and fly together. Break the chains of patriotic forever. We stand united, hand in hand, no longer silent. We take a stand. We need more women in leadership roles. Their ideas, their vision, and their goals. We own our bodies. We own our minds. We leave oppression far behind. We lift each other up. We amplify our voice. We fight for our rights and our choices. Today we'll reach the highest of heights and achieve our goals with all our might. Let's build a world where love conquers hate and create a future we'll all celebrate. Not just a dream, but a reality. See where women are truly, completely free. And that is a poem in honor of International Women's Day by Asha Islam. And I thought it was extremely appropriate. And we want to thank you. We want to just uplift all women. We are a sisterhood, and us moving together to unite one another, to amplify each other, to celebrate each other is really, really important. So that's what I wanted to say. Now you can go ahead.
Well,
And do what you
I really appreciate and love that, my co-host, because as you know, I've been one of the biggest cheerleaders for women entrepreneurs. I've been supporting the female space and, female entrepreneurship and all of that. And, if we can go back just a little bit, remember back in the day, man, when the men that they created the man, we needed the women next to us to help us out too, because we didn't really know everything. We didn't, we didn't have all the answers. So that's why we needed the women right next to us doing the things they do. So
in actuality, once God created man, after that, the women is the only way y'all get here. We're the host.
well, it was done that way to let us know the value of the women. And,
yes.
I just want to be one of the first to say, hey, I respect that. I respect the journey. I respect the struggles and the partnership that we've had over the centuries. So, I'm one of the first to say that we need women. We want to have women. We're not viewing women as the enemy. So we do everything we can to include that process, because it's a family, it's a team. That's how we do this. And, we've seen women do some things that some of our men really don't know how to do. So, which tells us that it's like the yin and the yang, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got the yin one way, and then you got the yang the other side. It's like a crossword puzzle. All those little pieces fit together. So we cannot survive without each other, and that's how I see this. And love that poem that you read, co-host. And I do still think that you should tell your story. Maybe after our guest, we can have you tell your story, because a lot of people see you on the show here every week and they're wondering, well, this woman, she sounds intelligent. She looks smart. She's been doing some things. What do I know about her? So we really want you to, let our audience know a little bit about why you are the superwoman that we dubbed you to be, and what your journey has been, and how you got here, and why you're staying here. Okay.
I have not been quiet, so I should assume that a lot of people do know. But I guess we can do that. But let's do our guest first.
Yeah.
But before we do that,
let's go.
we jump in. How was your week? and I don't know, we have a Facebook page asking us, somebody named Adam Nixon, is
Yeah.
our page belongs to us. Yes, Adam, our page belongs to us.
Yes, it
It has
belongs to
belonged to us
us.
for 8 years.
So I don't know why they need us to confirm it within 24 hours.
But
Are they trying to buy our page? What's the deal here? What's going on? You know.
but it does belong to us. So there we go. So there's your answer. Less than 24 hours, it belongs to us. How about
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Okay. So Gilbert, how was your week?
Man, my week has been great, man. Some things happened, did a few things. One of them I won't speak about publicly. The decision is pending right now, and I'm hoping it goes in my favor. And if it does, then that will be, a partial celebration. It won't be a great celebration. It will be a partial.
Okay.
I started another contract. Well, I'm getting ready to start another contract with Metro this month. So
Awesome.
I went and I got my badge taken and pictures and did a test and all of that stuff.
Well, congratulations. That's
I haven't
good stuff.
done these things in a long time. And the last time I took a quiz was back in grad school, so they're
Ah,
asking me to do quizzes. But being the astute business coach and trainer and facilitator that I am, it was easy, because you listen to the person present, you take notes, you focus on what they were talking about, and the quiz was all about that. So
okay.
you just regurgitate what you heard, and and from your notes. So that's what we did, and yeah, so that part, and then still working on that other contract for you and I. So those are things that we're doing. So how about you? What have you been
Well,
doing?
congratulations on your that endeavor. I know been working hard behind the scenes on these things. So
Yes,
congratulations on
yes.
that accomplishment. My week was wow. I actually spoke on Tuesday at the Black Family Summit. It is is a it was an event hosted by NAPI, which is the National African American Parent and
Institute.
Youth Organization.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God, just phenomenal. Just talked about education and moving the needle higher so that we can help children acquire excellence in the STEM program, math and well, all educational components,
Engineering, math,
engineering and
and
that sort of stuff.
technology. But see, co-host, you are the best person to do that though, because that's you. That's what you do. That's in your DNA. You do that
In my
every
DNA.
day. You see what I'm saying? You coach the kids. You do what you do. You elevate them. You teach the class. I mean, You're the perfect
Yeah,
person
but
for
I
that.
actually was invited to teach on one of your favorite subjects that I speak on all the time, and that is recycling the black dollar.
Now that's what I'm talking about. Now that's what I'm talking
So
about.
that was my presentation, and then I threw in a little financial literacy. But basically, it was all about why it's so important that we recycle the black dollar, the power of the black dollar. So you
Can you
know,
tell the audience again why it's important to recycle that black dollar, co-host?
because it's our economic empowerment, man. It's our voice. If we actually used our voice the way we should, because as I did my research, because before prior to the pandemic, our dollars were valued at $1.2 trillion.
Mm-hmm.
Well, somehow or another, we managed to increase that over the pandemic to $1.8 trillion. That is our what we spent, and over that time frame. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
we don't own anything.
Right.
We only have 12 black banks in 22 black banks in the country. There's only
Mm-hmm.
10 hotels that are owned by black folks. Um,
Mm-hmm.
We don't own any major department stores, but we certainly know how to spend money. So we now
Yeah,
need to redirect our spending
yeah.
expertise and invest that in back into our communities, growing our communities, and increasing our power in business, which would then give us more power and more voices when it comes to our political
And that
say so.
additional data that most of our people don't know, the reason why they're spending this dollar so quickly is because a dollar only lasts how long in the in the community?
6 hours in our community.
6 hours. That's how long it lasts, guys. 6 hours. We're the only group where our money lasts 6 hours or less.
Or
Every
less.
other group, it lasts 3 weeks, 3 weeks or a
Unlimited in
month
some
or more,
cases,
or unlimited to some
30
extent.
days for some. So we really have to work on that, and it's more important than ever before. Also, this week we voted. So um, we had a little bit better turnout than we thought, but
Good,
that's just the beginning. That was the preliminary.
good.
Now we need to focus on
The
getting ready
general.
for the general because that's going
Yeah.
to be vitally important,
Mm-hmm.
especially for our young men, young people, young men and women.
Yeah.
They really need to understand how politics work. They need to understand that the president really is only in control of the military. Other
Yeah.
than that, everything he does has to come through Congress and the
Go.
House.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So at the
Yeah.
present moment, we are kind of locked out in the House because there's that the GOP is controlling that, and that is a big issue. So now
Yeah.
we need everybody to go to the polls. That's just
Yeah.
bottom line. Go to
Yeah.
the polls in November, but do your research. You got 6 months to do your research to understand what you can do, what can't do. But know this: your voice, your vote has power.
That's
And
right.
I'm going to tell you that your ancestors died for the
The
permission
opportunity
and the
to vote.
opportunities to vote.
Yeah.
Your vote would not be, they would not be trying to take your vote away from you if it wasn't powerful. So just
That's right.
remember that.
That's
Anytime my
right.
mother used to tell me, anybody trying to take something for you, it has value.
And
Folks
if
don't
we
take something from you that has no value.
if we think that we don't have any power, guys, just remember that the most valuable power you have right now is that power to go pull that lever and vote. So keep that in mind because some decisions can be made, some things can be changed, just like they have done over the years. So keep that in mind. We know most of us are out there hanging out, still waiting for 40 acres and a mule. It may not come in that literary form, it may come in a different form. So be open-minded and expect that 40 acres and a mule in some other different kinds of ways. Okay. Now, our co-host, you want to tell them about how to subscribe to the YouTube
Yes,
channel?
but before we do that, I was reading something this week because I'm an avid reader, and I was reading some Black history. Got to read now, guys. Folks trying to take that
That's right.
ability and that opportunity away from you. But I
Mm-hmm.
was reading, and uh, during when Abraham Lincoln was going through the dilemma of emancipating us and giving us our freedom, he made a compromise. He so for those of you that don't think that there were reparations provided, there were, but they were provided to the slave owner, and so it was a compromise. He Abraham Lincoln wanted to abolish slavery, but he didn't want to aggravate the South. So what he did was he suggested a compromise, and that compromise was if we give you reparations for the slaves that you own for your property, then that's an equitable equitable compromise, right? So in D.C., it actually became law. So they provided the slave owners in the District of Columbia $300 for every slave they owned. So calculate that. If they own 600 slaves, then they got $300 per slave. There was one black man who actually was able to buy his freedom. So, in turn of buying his freedom, he then turned around and bought his family freedom as well. And then he found a loophole. And in that loophole, and he wasn't the only, there was five others as well. He was able to get reparations for the slaves that he now kind of owned because he bought his family and for their freedom. So in their mind, they were technically free, but however, as far as the American government went, they were not free. They were owned by him, but he got reparations, and so he was paid $1,500 for reparations. And in today's dollar, that was $170,000. But it actually changed the trajectory of his family, and so there's a book out. There's actually a podcast. It's called The Uncounted Millions by Tremaine Lee. You guys all should go listen to it. Some amazing history that none of us have ever learned about in our history lessons in middle school nor high school. So that's just a little moment of history, of American history, that there were reparations provided, but they were not provided for us. They were provided for the slave owners.
So it's called The Uncounted Millions?
The Uncounted Millions by Tremaine Lee.
Wow. I
And
definitely
it's
got to
on
check it out.
Spotify. Amazing
Yeah, I got to check
storyline.
it out.
Yeah, Tremaine Lee is actually a journalist on MSNBC, and so this is a podcast that he's launching, and I believe
I think I know. I think I know. I've seen that dude on MSN.
Yeah, he's a very active. He's a very active commentator. Um,
He's the one.
300.
He's the one who reported on the whipping post in South Carolina. I think that was a chopping block where they sell slaves and exchange them. They created a museum down there in South Carolina for that, and you can see the chopping block with the slaves on it right there too. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
he's the one who did that story.
yeah. So there was a number of others as well. I think there were six others. He talked about it in his podcast. So check it out on Spotify called Uncounted Millions. Very interesting information.
Greg Sneed said $300 then is now 5,700 today,
Mm-hmm.
and said he was expecting to see me in my wig, my woman's wig today, to celebrate Women's History Month.
Okay, so in honor of so you don't have to do a wig. We good. You don't need to dress in drag, man. All right, so let's talk about subscribing to our channel, and then let's bring on our guest because I'm excited to talk to her about
Subscribe.
So how do you subscribe to the Business Zone? You go on over to our YouTube channel and hit this the subscribe button that's right there on the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert's YouTube channel, or you can take a picture of the QR code. If you like the episodes, you can hit the like button. That's very helpful. It keeps us trending. And as well, you can go back over the last we have over 700 episodes over there archived. So we appreciate you doing that. And we're excited that we're going into our 8th year on air. I think that's an accomplishment just all by itself. The commitment to being here every Friday afternoon at 3 o'clock is an accomplishment.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about, man. We're committed.
We're committed, man. We're committed. All righty. So we ready to meet our guest?
We are ready. Drum roll.
Drum roll. So we're gonna bring her on, and here she is. Hi, Tani. How are you?
I'm doing well. So nice to meet you, Gilbert.
Hey, Tani. We've been hearing things about you, so I can't wait to hear what you have to say today.
Oh, thank you.
I am excited. I we always talk about people that are doing some really big things, right? And so I want her to tell you her story because it's in some cases, sometimes we do fall in business, but sometimes it's a good thing. So hers was a good thing. But she had a dream. She had a determination. She wasn't sure, like most of our dreams, not sure how that dream was going to come about, but all things fell in place in proper timing, and she made it happen. So she's a filmmaker, and she is the CEO of Ramah Productions, right?
Yes.
Ramah Productions. And you can tell me why you named it that. And with that, I am going to let you tell us about yourself, about your dreams, and about your business and what you're doing with your company.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I'm really excited to talk more about Ramah Productions and my journey. Ramah is an independent distribution company, and our goal is to amplify and celebrate Black creative voices. It took quite a journey to get to this point, and definitely my life didn't take a linear path. There were lots of left turns and right turns and pivots, but everything worked out in the end, and it's still working out. I like to say that the story of Ramah began about 20 years ago, and I lived in New York. I was in my small Harlem apartment, and I was an NYU film student, and I was attending a church at the time, and I believe we were fasting, and I was reading First Samuel as a part of the fast, and the Holy Spirit whispered to me. This word jumped out at me. It was Ramah, and it was a city where Samuel and a lot of the prophets had lived. And the Holy Spirit said, "That is the name of your production company." Now, at the time, I was broke as a joke. I was trying to figure it out, and I was like, oh my God, this is like my dream. But I wondered even then, like, how is this going to happen? Right. And then life started lifing, and I had bills to pay. So, I basically became a digital media specialist. I worked for NBC, and I was responsible for like uploading your favorite NBC shows to your cell phone. So I did that for a number of years. And then when Comcast bought NBC, I had the opportunity to move to LA. And because I'm from the West Coast, I just jumped at the opportunity so much and came to LA. It was a struggle at first. I didn't really know anyone. So it was like a total culture shock. People in New York can be very like blunt, aggressive. No one takes it personal. And I found out very quickly in LA that is not how things work. So,
we're a sensitive group out here.
Now tell me a little example of how you found that out.
Well, like even simple things like I wore a lot of black in New York.
Yeah.
And I would have like my coats and my scarves. And it was like, when I came to LA, I was like, the sun is so bright. Like, you just have to be so open and like, this is who I am, I mainly found that at work, when I didn't like someone or something, not someone, but when I didn't like something or have like a negative opinion, I had to learn how to phrase things a certain way so that I would not offend people. So
people are a little sensitive out here, huh?
Yeah. It's different. I always say if you can last for 2 years, you got it. You can't go back. And so yeah, I LA broke me in. But yeah, if you kind of just continuing, you think of your life as this story, right? Mm-hmm. And your life also as this blank sheet of paper, and the Lord has a pen and he's writing the chapters, right? So like your episode number, it's like a TV show. Your episode number corresponds to your age, so we're right. Like episode 25. I'm not going to try to age myself, but that's really and back then. And I was just trying to figure it out. And I always, I really got into the business side of the industry. and, marketing, business development, product development. But I still had this passion. And, I wrote a little bit here and there on the side. And I really wanted to do something more creative, but I just didn't really have the time or the courage to. And then, out of the blue, one of my former coworkers called me. She said, I have a position for you working for Warner Brothers. The only caveat is you got to move to Atlanta, right? And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I could be a real live TV executive, because the opportunity was to transition into content acquisition. So I just said, I'm single, I'm young, like, let me do it. So I packed my bags. And at this point, I'd been in LA for 4 years, and I had grown to love it, because once you live here, it's like you realize how good you have it. And I was sad to go, but when I was leaving, the Holy Spirit said, I'm going to bring you back in greater glory. And I was like, okay.
Was it difficult for you to just jump and take care of that? Was it difficult, or?
It was difficult because I had just come from New York. I had lived there for 12 years, and then to now segue to LA, and I was finally feeling comfortable. And then it's like, oh, here's another move. I went through a lot of emotions, but I realized that my job at the time was like a dead end.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Greg is from New York as well. And so he says, California folks are thin skinned. And he says, another culture shock going to Atlanta. Whole another culture shock.
Oh my God. And everyone told me, oh, you're going to love it. You're going to find your husband. Like, it's a perfect fit for you. And I got there, and you know
did you find?
Everyone's married in Atlanta from a young age. But, it was funny because I was like, wow, I am surrounded by a lot of Christians, and that was really cool. And I found a great church out there. But I quickly realized that the position I was in wasn't a great fit for me for a number of reasons. And it was 3 years in Atlanta. I learned a lot. I definitely cut my teeth as a business executive. But, it's just funny. At the end of my time there, I was definitely, it was time. I knew it was time. And
how long was it? How long did you stay there for?
3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 years. It was time. Hollywood can be, it was Hollywood in the South, but the same type of,
but different.
Yeah, a little different, but I was like, okay. Walmart called me out of the blue, and they said, we're launching an AVOD service for Vudu, which is their TVOD platform. We're launching an advertising video on demand service. We'd love for you to lead content acquisitions. And I was like, oh my God, this is an opportunity of a lifetime. So I packed my bags again. And the funny part is, I was talking to my dad. My dad's a pastor. And he said, I was just complaining. I was like, I want to go back to LA. And he said, pack some boxes and just write on the boxes from Atlanta to LA. So about 6 to 8 months, because it's an act of faith, right? Like the currency of the kingdom is faith. It's impossible to please God without it. So that was my act of faith. And 6 to 8 months prior to leaving Atlanta, I had those boxes. So when I went to my apartment, I would just like look in the corner and it would inspire me. And so when the time came, it was amazing. Now I'm going to tell you something. I was asking for a raise at the time and a promotion. I was trying to buy a home in Atlanta, and it just, everything fell through. And literally one of my superiors said, oh, well, the head of the team doesn't know what you do. And then she walked out of my cubicle, and I was like, are you serious? And then as soon as she had walked out, I got this email from Walmart, and they're like, yeah, we saw your resume on LinkedIn. We think you'd be great. Unbeknownst to me, the hiring manager had seen my exact LinkedIn page, and he sent it to HR and said, we need to hire this person.
Wow. It's amazing what you're saying. I'm sitting here smiling because I've gone through the same thing, but men handle those things differently because we're supposed to. From the beginning of time, men are like nomads. They'll travel from one city to the next, one region to so it's not a problem for men to do that. So I'm listening to you say that, and you're just validating so many things for me. So it's amazing. And your dad, see, he was there as a truth teller to you, to say, hey, don't be upset about this. Everything happened for a reason. They're preparing you for something special, right? And that's what happened. So now
it's so true.
Walmart gave you that opportunity, and look at you now.
Walmart
but
gave me the
I will say
opportunity.
this: not a lot of women would have packed. I mean, yeah, and maybe the industry that you're in, because you got to go where the industry is, right? I mean, I think that's a given in the entertainment industry. If you want to be successful in it, you got to move wherever it takes you to move. But a lot of us, we're kind of we're grounded where we are, right? Our churches, our friends, we may have gone to college wherever we were. We put down roots. So you're right. A lot of women won't pack up and just leave. Unless when they first come out of college, they'll make those type of decisions. But
they'll still be a little hesitant to do it.
So unless you're moving, especially if you're coming from New York, or if you're moving to New York or you're moving to California, but send me to some little southern town. What? But I understand Atlanta is that other film space that is out there.
See, there is a reason.
And I want
to go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. You go ahead. Well, I also want to say Atlanta is a beautiful city.
Yeah. There's a reason why it played out that way, and I want you to just think, like you say, life is like a movie, right, with different episodes. So I want you to think of it that way. Continue to think of it that way, because when those things came up and you were unsure as to what you need to do, right, you are being prepared for a special mission. Remember, entrepreneurship is a journey. And as you go through that journey, you're building your repertoire, you're building your skills, you're building your accolades, you're building that celebrity. You see what I'm saying? As you go along. So that's what was going on for you, but you were afraid, but it was necessary for you to go through those things. See what I mean?
Yeah, pretty awesome.
It was so
continue on, because the next level was really amazing.
Yes, exactly.
So then you went to Walmart.
So then I went to Walmart. So now we're in like act 2 of my life, I suppose. So I went to Walmart, and all of the things that I had wanted in my previous position, I actually received at Walmart: ownership, autonomy, authority. It was really a great position for me. And I just cut my teeth on content acquisitions. And the great part about it is I got to meet everyone in the space. So with the major studios, I was kind of like limited to major and minor studios. But with Walmart, sky was the limit. I got to meet independent aggregators, major mini studios, and also like faith-based niche content like Spanish language, anime. So it just broadened my horizon. And, it's just funny, being a Black person, Black woman in corporate America, there are always challenges, people who underestimate you. But I just felt like I had a lot of favor from God, and everything that I touched was blessed, and it grew. So from Walmart, I segued into a position on Silicon Valley, and I worked for a company called Masterclass, and I was a director of business development there. And that was a really nice pivot for my career to take, because it really gave me more business acumen and knowledge. And I feel like I got my PhD there. I learned so much. By this point, I had been through a lot, right? And the idea of Ramah seemed like a distant memory. Oh, and I should say, actually, a little caveat. In 2019, I did travel to Ghana with my mother. and we celebrated the year of return. And at one point, we retraced the steps of our ancestors. We went to the Slave River and we like all ran down there. And the tour guide said, jump in the river and like ask for a blessing. And I asked God to bless me with, you know, my own business.
How long were you there?
So 2 weeks.
Oh, okay. That's good.
Wow.
Yeah. 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 So, you know, so back to, I was at masterclass, and Ramah seemed like a thing of the past, and I really didn't have time to be creative. I thought about it, but I really didn't have a lot of time. And, you know, one day I was, you know, I woke up early in the morning to get some tea from my favorite tea spot here. And I had missed a very important call and an all hands meeting. And directly after, I had a meeting with a coworker, and she texted me furiously, hey, I'm so sorry about the news. With all things that have been said, let's just cancel our meeting. And I was like, what are you talking about? And she's like, weren't you on the all hands? And I was like, no. And she's like, oh, well, basically the president of the company said within 30 minutes, he's going to have to let go of 26% of the staff impacted. You will receive an email within that time frame. So I'm like in my car driving and like drinking my favorite tea. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, no way, it's not going to happen to me. Sure enough, 10 minutes later, I get the invite, the email. And I was like, oh my, I was like, Lord, what? Like, you couldn't tell me I was God's favorite child. So I was like, are you serious? And I think I was just in shock. Like, but I, you know, even though I was disappointed and hurt and upset, I kind of felt like this happened for a reason. And God
you were being prepared. You were being prepared for you.
Exactly. And it's like, I finally moved back to LA. God fulfilled his promise. I moved back in greater glory, and I was making a decent wage, working on Silicon Valley. And then boom, like thousands of others on Silicon Valley, I was laid off. Right. And so I said, wow. And I just told the Lord, I said, you know, I'm just so tired. I'm so burned out. Like, I can't even look for a job. And I felt like the Holy Spirit was really telling me to rest. So that's what I did. And sure enough, you know, I had been interviewing for a job at the time, and you couldn't tell me I didn't have it. And within 2 weeks post layoff, they were like, you know, we really liked you, but there's a certain skill set we need that you don't have. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, Lord, what are we going to do? And that same day, a former colleague of mine who had been laid off last year called me, and she's like, let's meet up for lunch. And I was like, okay. And she's like, listen, I'm at this new company now. I want to bring you over. So basically the same thing I did at Masterclass, I now do at my current job, which is awesome. So it was really interesting. And, you know, I've just been working in the business world. Again, the creative things seem to be a thing of the past. But a few months ago, you know, Comcast called, and they launched this amazing channel called the Black Experience Channel. And, you know, they're interested in licensing content that really reflects the Black community and all of its layers and flavors and colors. And, you know, they asked me to come on board as like their chief licensing executive for the channel. And so we were going back and forth, like, how are we going to do the contract? And, you know, they said, well, why don't you start your own company, and then we can simply license from you there. And I was like, and boom.
Ramah, right? Ramah.
Yeah.
I'm listening to your story, but I'm also writing it over here because I knew all of these pieces you're talking about, they're going to fit right into place.
It fits right into place. And so getting laid off is actually one of the best things that happened to me. It afforded me more time to breathe, to rest, to live, but also to work on a dream that God placed in my heart some 15 years ago. And, you know, in that moment with Comcast, Ramah was reborn, you know, and I was able to, you know, recreate or the LLC was always there, but I was able to actually use it now, you know. And so we're actively pursuing deals with filmmakers and talent. And, you know, eventually I'd love to make my own films under the Ramah banner. And so when you think about like your life as a story, or your life as like an unwritten sheet of paper in God's hands, when you give him the pen, there will be plot twists, there will be climaxes, there will be dark nights of the soul transformed to triumph. But if you give him the pen and allow yourself to be the paper, in the end, you will win.
And that's
I just
exactly
love
what
it
you
that
did.
I mean, because we coach people on how to run their businesses and how to start it and everything. Yours just kind of, I mean, you had to go through a whole lot of stuff to get it, and then all of a sudden it's like, here, you start your business, we will contract with you. I mean, that's like the ultimate.
Yeah, but it took so much. I had to go through so much to get there, and I think God has tests and preparation, like Gilbert
Yeah,
was saying earlier.
you need that preparatory part of your journey. That's why all of those things happen. You know, those things are not accident. You going to Ghana is not an accident. You going to Atlanta is not an accident. The Walmart deal, that's not an accident. That's preparation.
It's preparation. And you also, when you have the perspective that, when you're looking at the structure of a story, every hero needs a villain. And when you look at it that way, it says in the Bible that the Lord will make your enemies your footstool. And if you think about what a footstool is, it's simply there to lift you up and raise you higher. So your enemies can be anything. It could be challenges. It can be, you dealing with certain like mental things, depression, whatever it is. It could be a physical person.
Could be the banks.
It could be the banks. It could be the finances. I mean, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But those things in God's hands are only designed to promote you and lift you higher. And I think sometimes if we have that perspective, we will persevere and realize that in the end, you will win.
Do you have a website?
Yes.
It's called Ramah Productions.
So think about how your story will sound on that website. Because what you just told us, very impressive.
Well,
that's the same kind of story.
Who did her website?
Who you?
Did her website?
Who, you?
No, Cha-Cha.
Cha-Cha! Oh, man. Oh, you know you're in good hands. Because Cha-Cha will guide you along the way. She will guide you along the way.
So, tell me, so your dream to be a filmmaker, that was the dream in the beginning? I mean, I know you wanted your own company, but you went to school to be a filmmaker?
To be a filmmaker, and that's something that I love, that I was very passionate about, and I still am. I think the beautiful thing about Ramah is that I want to champion other filmmakers who are in the trenches and just need a shot. And then I would love to write and produce my own creative work. So I feel like right now we haven't really leaned into the production aspect of Ramah. It's more distribution, but phase 2, I definitely see it becoming a full-fledged production company.
So Tani, picture this, okay? You are who you are right now, doing what you do, and I'm an aspiring filmmaker, and I came to you. I sit in your office with you, and you tell me the story that you just told us. Do you think that's going to inspire me and motivate me?
Oh my God. I think yes.
Because you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying, that there's a purpose for that, because there are going to be other people, proteges and others, who will come to you for either mentorship, guidance, or leadership. And when you tell them that story, I'm telling you, it's going to motivate the heck out of them, because they're going to go, wow, this is amazing. Because with each episode of this story, you don't know how it's going to end. You're thinking, okay, maybe some good things will happen, or maybe it's going to end up badly. But it guided you to where you needed to be today. You see that?
It guided me. And there's power in your story. It says in the Bible that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Your testimony can transform lives. If we're just,
Greg said, copyright this story first. He said to copyright your story.
So what kind of projects are you that's in the works? And I do understand, you know, we're in a really wonderful place right now because a lot of the black filmmakers and you know, such as Ava DuVernay and just so many other are telling some amazing stories
Yeah.
about our history. So what are some of the projects that you are working on, and what does that future look like for you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So phase one, I'm licensing already finished films, and man, I've just received so many submissions from filmmakers all over. And I'm really excited about the diaspora. You know, I am African American, but I'm really interested in, you know, African filmmaking, Caribbean, and I've seen a lot of African films and TV shows that I'm really interested in. We have a lot of romances, action, uh, faith-based content, which is something that, of course, you know, I'm passionate about. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I want to give back to filmmakers who were like me. So I actually went back to NYU, and, you know, I'm working with some of the alumni and students there just to aggregate a lot of the short films that are exceptional and well produced, but they just need some eyeballs. They just need some support.
Mm-hmm. Did you go
So
to the Pan African Film Fest that was in LA?
I didn't, it was in February. I didn't get a chance to go.
Yeah, you probably need to connect with Babu, who is actually the founder and the one that executes that whole. And it happens every year, and it's been going on. I'll get his information for you. But if you go to the Pan African, the PAFF.com, I think, or .org,
Mhm.
you can pull up there because that is where a lot of the young filmmakers, a lot of their projects are. For that 10 days are actually shown in that platform.
Well, that's great.
Yeah,
I would love an
yeah,
introduction
I
there.
can send you an introduction there. So let me ask you, so how do you believe amplifying our voices and stories from black creators can contribute to a more inclusive and diverse cultural landscape for us?
Well, it's such a good question because, you know, I was just reading this statistic that 4 in 5 Black Americans watch content on OTT services, Pluto, Roku channel. But when you actually look at those services, I don't think the Black content fully represents the scope of Black culture. You know, as you guys know, we're not a
That's true.
monolith. We're so many things. And I think, you know, sometimes with Black people, we love a good story, you know, and we love
Mm-hmm.
premium quality just as much as anyone else does. So I feel like there's a gap right now in the ecosystem where the Black content that's there, and it's not necessarily bad content, it's just it fits into a certain type or category. And if you just want
Mm-hmm.
something a little different, you might be left wanting. So I feel like Rama is there. We're going to show the full scope. It's premium, it's quality. We're going to have comedies, dramas, action oriented, faith based, kids, something for everyone. And
For it to depict like life, one of the series that I've been following that I really like of Tyler Perry's is the show Sisters. I mean, it really had. I mean, it's all kinds of twists and turns, but but not stereotypic that we are used to seeing and
mhm,
hearing
yeah,
so you know I followed it. I think I'm in the fourth season right now, and I really like the way the momentum of it has stayed the same. The quality has stayed the same.
Which one is that?
Um,
Which one is
it's
that
called
called?
Sis. I think it's called Sisters. Yeah, Sisters.
Oh,
It's
with
Tyler
with
Perry.
sisters.
Sisters. Uh huh.
Yeah.
But I also I watch a lot of international shows. I love Nappywood or Norwood. Was it
yeah,
Nollywood?
Hollywood.
I
no,
watch a lot of African shows, and I've seen some major series that I followed. I kind of know who the actors are. The same thing. I like Korean dramas as well. I
yeah,
like Bollywood. I'm into the one because there's a story that's told. It's not just about uh, sex and action. They're actually
yeah.
those they tell stories. I like to hear stories. And so are those some of the projects that you're working on as well? or
Yeah,
thinking?
so that I'm thinking through, because if you look at the studio system right now, things in Hollywood are, kind of constricting, right? And so
Hmm.
the studios are greenlighting a handful of tentpoles every year. And so there are all of these, as you said, authentic stories, indie stories that are out there, and they're not being picked up by the studios. And
Hmm.
so I'm really into telling real stories. I don't think everything needs to be CGI or action packed, but just, at the end of the day, does it touch my heart? Does it touch my mind? And there's
Yeah.
so many stories out there, and they're just not being amplified.
Right, exactly. Has streaming been very effective for us to be able to tell, for you to get those stories to us now versus going through, just one Paramount or one studio that was controlling everything? How has that changed the technology? How has that technology changed how we're getting our shows out there?
Oh man, it's changed everything tremendously. It's direct to consumer. I mean, as a distributor, you can have a channel on a Roku or a Tubi or a Pluto, as long as you have, like, a high volume of content. It's of a certain quality, and it's really given, I think, the little guy more of an opportunity to get his films and his TV shows seen on a broader scale. So Hollywood is just going through a really interesting transition right now, and I think it's time for the indie filmmaker. Like, it's our time,
Mm.
So let me ask you this, Tana, Tani. I'm sorry. um, if you produce a movie or a film, do you produce a collection of them, like maybe 5 to 13 of them, so you can at least have a series, and then you present it to these platforms, or how do you do it?
Yeah, you definitely need a catalog. So I mean, I would say minimum, 25, but they're looking for like 200 plus, because they're
200?
trying to
That
monetize.
many?
Yeah, because they want to monetize the content. They're going to stick a bunch of ads in it. And every time you watch the film, you're forced to watch the ad, and the
Right.
platform is paid. So you think
Bec-
they're looking for more content to place
That's a
ads
lot of
in.
money right there for you to do 200, because Tyler Perry, he has, not only does he do sisters, but he also does one called Bro, B R
Mm,
Bruh, Bro, right?
Yeah, I
And
yeah.
haven't started that one
that's
yet.
on Roku, right? But he doesn't do so many episodes. He only does like six first to start, and then that six he presented to them, and they'll air it. And if the responses are overwhelming, then they'll say, okay, we'll do a series, which will be 13 episodes, right? And then after that, they'll say, okay, do another series, because that's how Sister started. Also, he did like
Oh,
six shows and
Hmm.
presented Roku. Like you right now, you can present your stuff to Roku or Sling,
mhm.
or I know
Yeah.
Fobu and Philo. They do a lot of those black movies. There's a company called Maverick that does a lot of those
Yes.
black movies, right?
Yeah,
I don't know if
definitely.
they're probably from Atlanta, so I don't know if you
Yeah,
know
they
them.
are.
Yeah, so they do a
Yeah.
Yeah.
lot of those shows, and then they put it on those platforms. But I'm not
Mhm.
telling you what to do. I'm sure you already know what to do. But
No,
you know,
I love recommendations and references. So
yeah,
yeah,
I think that would be a great way for you to get your feet wet on that. And then
yeah.
are you're working with Netflix now, right? Are you
Comcast.
I
Com,
am
Com,
Comcast. Yeah.
Comcast? So you never know. Netflix might see those six episodes and go, "Hey, let me talk to
There's something
this
there.
amazing female creator." You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you never know, man. So I would just keep doing those. And and Greg in the chat, he said, where does the marketing money come from for these indies film? So I'm sure the
Yeah.
same question goes to, where would the money come from for you to do 200 episodes? That's a lot of work, a lot of
That's
production and money. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
And And that's why phase one is distribution, right? So someone
Right.
else has already done the heavy lifting, investing in the actual production. In terms of marketing, you know, that's typically something that you would lean on the platform or the studio to do. So
Yeah.
once you sign that deal with whoever it is, I mean, Tubi is out there buying original content as well. And so as a deal term in your contract, if you're a filmmaker, then you
Yeah.
want to negotiate a certain amount of marketing, you know, X number of impressions or what have you.
So you got a lot of flexibility with Comcast right now?
I do, yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. There's your six, your first six that you're gonna do and present to them and see
Yeah.
how they did, because they're gonna test the market to see how the market respond to
Totally.
what you're producing. And there's so much content that you can create in so many different ways, you know.
And that's what
I
I'm
had
really seeing. Oh, I'm sorry, Crystal.
no. I had heard in regards to Tubi. First of all, Tubi is owned by Fox,
Yeah.
and Roland Martin did a whole thing because you know when you look at this, they're not the best quality
Right,
films
right.
that are at Tubi. There are some others, obviously. Cinemax and Stars have some really amazing content. And then from a historical standpoint, you know, Cinemax and all of those have content that's a little bit more not quite so pigeonholed with as typical type of project. But yeah,
Yeah.
the first couple times I saw Tubi, it's like, what is this? And then when I learned that from Roland Martin, I was like, oh, I get it now because it's a whole marketing thing. You know, I'm sure you heard us earlier on talk about our consumer dollars. So we actually are trendsetters. We actually trend whatever our culture is. That's the trends that big um, companies utilize to get the eyeballs on the content, right? So Roland Martin had indicated that when the very first time they had a Super Bowl extravaganza with whoever was the very first one, that it may have been Janet Jackson and whomever, they saw how many people tuned in to the Super Bowl based upon the halftime show.
Right.
So they're
Oh,
like, whoa. So we need to bring, that's why there's so many black entertainers and rappers and everyone, is to
Yeah.
get the eyeballs on
oh,
the Super Bowl halftime show. That's all. That's what it's for.
wow. Wait, so what research did they use to say like everyone's watching,
They
everyone's
probably use what's the
They
name
did
of that? What's
Nielsen and
Nielsen, the
BET.
Nielsen?
Nielsen,
Nielsen.
Nielsen.
Yeah, the
Right.
Nielsen. You have to. I'll send you over that art. That's
Please
the
do.
the interview or the the interview on Roland Martin, and he really broke it down as to
Yes.
how they utilize us because we're the trendsetters,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And they notice we will if they can get our eyeballs on content, then they know it's going to be successful. So we got to utilize that same formula. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's amazing.
Seriously.
It was amazing.
That's That's amazing. I mean, even like you guys were talking earlier before I came on about, you know, the black dollar circulating, and you think about Black Wall
Mm,
Street, the black dollar circulated anywhere from 36 to 100 times before it left our community. And,
Yeah.
you know,
mhm.
unfortunately, that community was destroyed along with many others. But I just hope in some small way, you know, we can come back to that era of uniting, collaboration, and supporting one another because we only move forward together.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of what when I spoke the other day is we have to do this together in all aspects. But there are certain spaces that our dollars we a large percentages of our dollars are spent, and entertainment is one of those spaces. And I've always said that the entertainment field, the sports field, and the hair field, the beauty industry, are the industries that we really should be trending in, and we should be creating businesses in because that's where the most money of that
Mm,
1.8 trillion dollars. majority of it is going to those three industries.
Yeah.
So
now
and
that's amazing.
If you were to make a film over the next month, what would that entail? What would be involved in that?
Man, I have so many ideas. You know what? I want to make a film about my mother and I taking the trip back to Ghana and retracing the footsteps of our ancestors. And I want to make a film about generational healing, you know? I also, okay, it's kind of interesting that you asked me this because I feel like I need to start writing. And I was thinking the other night, I'm like, what should I write? And then I was thinking of, my life story as a TV show or a film. And I was like, I usually tell my friends or my family these little stories, but it would be really cool to like do something like this and just put pen to paper.
I can see it. It's like Carrie on Sex and the City. I can see it. I mean, she had a dream to be a journalist and to write for whatever. I think it was one of the women's magazines, and that was really what Sex and the City was about. Was about Carrie and her escapade to get to what her ultimate goal is. So I can see you. I can see that tracing across the countryside, chasing after that dream to get Ramah Productions.
Yeah.
And then finally look how that would be a phenomenal sitcom.
So part of what I was thinking about, Tani, when I asked you that question was, okay, so we know you're gonna have to get lighting, you're gonna have to get camera people, you're gonna have to get a whole lot of other things, right? So I was wondering if you had a plan as to how many different camera people you would need, the different types of camera you would use, and since you're starting out with a small budget, then you could get some high definition cameras that are low cost, to do. People have made films with their iPhones, right? So things like that you can do, right, to get started and edit it and produce it, that type of thing.
I'm gonna
edit, produce it, and like you said, oh, go ahead.
There was a young lady, and you two definitely should meet. And if I had known your story in fullness, I would have introduced you last week when we were at the Black History event at the Urban League. Her name is Shannon Bobo. She has a casting company, and she actually was a talent caster. She worked for someone else, and so she started her own business right during just before the pandemic. But she's been working on some major projects, so I'd like to introduce you to her because she's got something big happening. I think this month she's been making some headway. Her husband is also a director, so I think that would be so they got some projects that they're working on as well. I also a young lady that she is the first Black woman stunt woman. She actually has a program called Raw, and she teaches young girls about the industry and how to get in how to be a stunt person. So she's been around. LaFay Baker, she's been doing this stuff for a very long time as well, and she still throws her hand into the pot on doing stunts. But I think she's writing now and creating content now. So those might be some great referrals for you.
Yeah, well, Shannon Bobo, for sure, she definitely needs to meet, because since you're going to need characters for some of that, you probably already know some of the characters you're going to use, but she could probably help you with typecasting, because if you're going to do the story on you, then you're going to be the director. You probably want someone who can personify you, right? Young and vibrant, going to Atlanta. You see what I'm saying? Bright-eyed, bushy tail.
Yeah.
And actually, three of the people that Shannon got casted in projects. They actually were. One was actually, I think was nominated for an Academy Award recently. So three of them, actually, three of the films that she casted people in, those individuals actually were acknowledged and received nominations for in that. So she's on top of the moon right now.
Oh, wow. I have to talk to Shannon.
Yeah, exactly. This is one of those passion. I was telling students of mine the other day that, when you go into business, if you find that if you're passionate about something, it is never about work anyway, right? But for those of you that are that has that creative, whether it's in music or filmmaking or whatever it is, your journey, it has a lot of ups and downs and some pitfalls and so forth, but the reward on the other side can be incredible if you hit that right at the timing is right? You hit that right vehicle that takes you over the top, and it really projects you out there in the stratosphere, like an Ava DuVernay or
I was just gonna say
Octavia, all of them, right? And so many women are now getting into the behind the scenes, the directing versus the acting and the filming and so forth. How, because you've been doing this for over 20 years, what have you seen that changed to be from when you first got into it to where you are today?
Oh my God, lots more opportunity. I mean, when I was in film school, I got a scholarship for the summer to intern at Universal, and man, I just felt like I was the only one. I would network with people and they'd be like, well, what do you do? And I was like, well, I'm a writer and director. And it was like an anomaly, like, oh, that's really different. Like, you do that? And, and now it's like the floodgates are open. You have Ava, which you spoke of earlier. There's just a lot of Cord Jefferson is another, he wrote and directed American Fiction.
Oh, awesome.
And I just feel like there's so much. So good. So good. And there's just lots more opportunity now.
Do you believe in writing love stories, or you have a different approach that you want to take?
I believe in love stories, writing them, as long as it's not like a cookie cutter type of love story and it has some meaning and some depth. So I would love to write that.
Would it be general love story, or would it be Black love story?
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? Because we had an associate who he did a short film on Black love, and it was just amazing. Not too many people do Black love; they just do general love. You see what I'm saying? So that right there could be a point of interest.
Yeah, I would love to do Black love. I mean, it's interesting. Like all my career, I just had to focus on, mainstream titles, generating revenue, increasing sales. And now I'm at the point in my career where I can just be myself and rest in that. And I love that I don't have to use buzzwords. I can just be Black.
That's amazing, because that's what they're looking for at Comcast, especially in today's climate, right? Most people are not looking to elevate us or highlight us, but I think is that, and that you're sitting in the bird's eye seat where you can choose the projects that you want to support. I think that's incredible. Greg, that was a godsend.
Greg, our field correspondent said, do Jamaican love story.
Jamaican love. Ooh, that's cool.
Well, I mean, that's why I watch the African shows, movies, and things, because you get to see their culture.
You get African love, right?
You get you get the culture part of, right? Because they have, especially the different economic levels, right? If you're in Africa, if you come from a wealthy family, they're looking for their sons who is going to be following the footsteps of the king or the whatever, and they're usually, they want them to marry someone that fits in the picture, right? Right. And so then and they usually fall in love with the local girl down the street, and they're fighting to make that happen. And I've seen African stories with with the Igbo tribe and the Hausa tribe, they don't get together, and it's like, no, the dad is like, I forbid you. So it's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's so true. And that reminded me, I'm actually from New Orleans. My family's from New Orleans.
Okay.
I was raised in Tucson.
Okay.
I didn't get the Southern accent, but I have been thinking about an idea of a Hurricane Katrina drama or love story where you have these two young people coming together, they're madly in love, but somehow the storm is the villain and the storm separates them. I don't think we've seen enough content about Hurricane Katrina.
Actually, Ava DuVernay did a love story like that, just like that.
In Katrina?
Just like that, yeah. Yeah,
I know the biggest one.
Oh, really?
It's about a couple who went back. Because of the hurricane, they had to leave, but then they went back to the family place, and some bad things happened to the place and the city, and thugs and all kinds of stuff happened. Yeah, it was different.
I know the one Treme, which is the biggest one. That have you seen?
Treme.
Yeah, Treme, which was amazing because Anthony he was part of that. He because he's flooded with love. Is that what it's called, Greg?
Yeah, that's what he said. Flooded with love.
It as a title, flooded with love.
And he also,
right, Greg.
Is that what it's called?
No, that's what Greg has
that's his title, right? He said
I see now.
He said also do Jamaican love story. That's what he said.
Yeah. But Wendell Pierce was part of that, right? Because he was from he was from New Orleans, and I mean we watched that whole series. That was phenomenal. But I think there definitely is room for more.
Oh yeah. There's so many things that you could do.
There's
I'm just thinking about the budget and what it's going to cost you to do this, because there are so many areas that you're going to focus on, and you're going to need characters, and you need lighting, camera crew, that type of thing. You got to feed people when you're filming. All of that.
For me, they actually use locals. That was the majority of the actors in Treme were locals, and it was actually, it created their acting careers, right? Because they weren't thinking about acting. There's a number of them that came out of that actually pursued an acting career, and I've seen them in other projects. But Treme was pretty phenomenal. But they put people to work. How so? How are projects funded nowadays? I know in the big houses, the big production studios, they have kind of a formula. But as an independent, what do you do? Crowdfunding and things like that? Investors still?
Yeah, crowdfunding, there are investors who actually, fund these sorts of indie films. And, platforms actually are leaning into original content, and they will cover the budget as long as, they get exclusive for X number of years, and they're able to recoup the money with ad sales.
Oh, okay. So that makes it a little easier. I mean, not as challenging to go out there and find raw money. I mean, they have a vested interest in the project.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I didn't know this until maybe like a year ago, but Black content is huge. If you speak to any of the buyers on these platforms, they're like, I think it's 39% of the views on Tubi come from Black streamers. So we're only 11% of the population, but we over-index on these AVOD and SVOD services.
It's a forgotten treasures, Black content. That's what it is. Because like Crystal said earlier, the Blacks are the trendsetters. You see what I'm saying? And on fashion, on music, entertainment, everything. So that's why they try. You see a lot more Black content out there in the movie sphere. So you're right on time. You are right on time.
Well, I'm excited for you, and so what does that? So where do you go? So what's phase phase 2 you create. So phase 1 is actually distribution of already created content, and phase 2 is you, or that another down the line there.
No, phase 2 is production. I'd love to produce and write. I don't know about directing, but definitely produce and write my own film. And I want to give other people a chance. Like, I have so many friends that I went to film school with, and they're so talented, and they just need an opportunity. There's so many amazing filmmakers out there. And so not just me, I want to give so many people a chance.
Yeah, my nephew actually went to school. He went to SCAD, and he wants to be a director. And behind the scenes, videographer, actually editing, and then he wants to direct his own film. So he did a couple projects when he was at school.
I am excited to see your first body of work. Very excited to see it. Don't know when it's going to be, but I'm excited to see it.
I think we've already decided what it's going to be. It'll be about my life. Like, we've decided right here what it will be.
I think so. I think that would be excellent. So yeah, there you go. Now you just have to move forward. That's phase 2.
That's phase 2.
Just got to put pen to paper and make it happen. Greg said to take an existing short film and extend to full length or series. That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, you know what? That's a really good idea. So many good short films out there.
A lot.
Yeah. I'm going to definitely make that introduction because he'll be working now. They're already, you know, it closed on the 17th. I think it was the 17th, the Pan-African. So now he actually is on getting ready for next year. And he's an incredible person, and he's all about supporting new talent, new Black talent.
Oh, that's yeah. I'd love to meet him. You know, I'll be attending the Bronze Lens and the Black Star Film Festival this year, but I definitely want to add more of these sorts of festivals on my schedule.
We should also introduce him to what's her name? Her company is Blue Productions.
Angela.
Angela, because Angela just did. They did a programming or a film in Ghana. She just did that. Her name is what is her?
Blue.
Her company is called Blue Productions. Yeah.
Blue Productions.
And I think I ran into her about 6 months ago, and they were finishing up the second film. I think it was a part 1 and a part 2, but it was all shot in Ghana. Yeah, they did the whole thing in Ghana. But I'll make some introductions for you.
Oh yeah. You're on the right path, though, Tani. You're on the right path, and look like you're. I'm just excited to see the first working project in action. I want to see, I want to see where your mind is. I want to see how you think, how your creative mind. I want to see that. That's what I want.
Well, you know what? Since you've spoken all this into existence, you're going to get an invite to the set when that happens.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. and I want you to keep this in mind, because I don't know how strongly or how deeply you think about this. I just want you to know that everything that you do, it plays a very significant role in your life. It's a part of your chapter, part of your series, part of your episodes. So you just got to just put those in place and just let them work. Because everything you've done over the last 5 to 6 years, right? You see how it brought you to today? It brought you to where you are today? You see what I'm saying?
It's so crazy, because as hard as Atlanta was, had I not gone through that, I wouldn't be prepared for Comcast, because I have so many contacts, with these companies that I can just call and say, give me 100 films. And they're like, okay, we know you from X job, so here you go. So God used every single thing, every single experience, and nothing was wasted.
Yes.
Yeah, and I actually think even from a standpoint as a mentor, what your journey is, because a lot of times I think in this industry, the no's can be quite devastating. Like, am I ever going to make it? And in
Yeah.
actuality, in that entertainment industry, you receive more no's than you receive yeses.
Yeah.
But
Oh
I
man.
like the way you, even though the directions were changing and directing you this way, and then it moved you over here, and then a lot of people can't handle that, but because of your spiritual faith, you knew that it was part of the journey. And I think you have a message, especially for young people, that are people that are coming up in this industry, which can be kind of brutal
Yeah.
if they don't have a
Woo!
solid faith-based uh, um, structuring of your life, because a lot of them get misdirected after the first. It's like, I'm never gonna make it, right? I'm never gonna make it in this
Yeah.
field, and especially a black talented individual. It's harder for you because, one, you're pigeonholed. If you're going to be an actor, you're pigeonholed in what that
Yeah.
space. You really have to be like a Jamie Foxx. You got to be a triple threat or a quadruple threat or
Yeah.
everybody threat
Yeah.
Mhm.
in order to be successful in it.
It's so true. And, something that my mom told me, I was going through kind of, a hard time at one of my jobs. And she said, they do not have the power to determine your
That's
destiny.
right.
Only God
That's
does.
Mhm.
right.
And sometimes you just have to hang
Mhm.
on to what God said, who you are, not who other people say you are or may think you are. And it's a very fine line, but, you have to have faith. You just
So
do.
Yeah.
it appears that what you're probably going to be working on now is a pilot, right? You're going to start working on pilots, right? Because that's really what you need, and then you
Yeah.
just start marketing it to Comcast, to Roku, Netflix. You never know. You
Yes.
never know.
Well,
You
I think
never
Mhm.
she can
know.
start where she is,
Gilbert,
Comcast.
Yeah,
That's
that's
where
what I'm
I
saying.
start.
That's what I'm saying.
well, yeah, I'll tell
That's
you,
what I'm saying to
Gilbert,
Comcast.
Comcast, but Gilbert, I love your attitude and I love where you're thinking, because it's honestly like that is my dream,
Yes.
to get into originals, to have my own
Yeah.
projects. And that's what I'm believing
Oh
God is
yeah.
going to
Oh
do.
yeah.
So
I
yeah.
see you doing great things because your mindset, I don't see them having that incorporated in anything they've done yet. So your mindset is going to
Mhm.
take it to another level, another plateau. So yeah, just do your thing, man. Do your
Yeah.
thing. And you're young and vibrant
Mhm.
and ready to take on the world. So do it. Do
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I'm excited for you as well, and so of course I'm as your coach. You whatever you need, and I'm gonna make some introductions for you, because there's some other people out there that I think you guys can be very beneficial. I'm all about collaborating, and I think we are getting to that
Mhm.
place that we recognize that the power of one is a lonely trail,
it.
but the
Oh yeah.
power of two, three, four, five,
Mhm.
we
Power
can
of
get you there
many.
much faster. People
Yes.
that are already
I
blazed
love
some
that.
trails, and especially since you're not, you're looking to help display and to bring content, people who already have created and distribute that content. Oh, you're like a diamond in the rough over
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. Yeah. I see
Yeah.
her bringing in a lot of talent, a lot of products to them that they're because see they're going to be producing the people you affiliate with. They're going to be producing their films and all of that. You're going to provide evaluation and oversight on those films, and you give it the sniff test to see if it's ready enough for the compact Comcast
Yeah.
platform, and then you just bring it in. I'm speaking from the mind of a producer now, right? Like producer,
Oh,
right? Because I used to be
yeah.
in the music business, so that's why I'm thinking that way, right? So as a producer, your material may not be enough for what they're trying to do, but if you bring in other artists, other talent, they might have a little bit more diverse flavor to bring to the table. So you combine that with what you have, and then you present it to them. Like, oh my God, yeah, I want this, I want that, I want, you know, and before you know it.
Yeah, a whole portfolio of different types of films. That's the vision.
Yeah. I think that's awesome.
That's it.
Yeah. I am just excited for you. One day we're going to see you. I was like, oh, I know her at the Academy Awards. I know her.
Miss Tani, do you remember us?
No, that'd be pretty awesome. So looking forward to it. Well, however we can help you.
Is there
any parting words
you want to share with the audience?
Yeah.
Any last words?
Yeah, you want to share with the audience how to get a hold of you, what type of projects you would like to see. If there are producers, I mean, if there are talents out there who want to provide you with their product to produce, you know, how to get a hold of you, that type of thing.
Yes. So we are actively pursuing partnerships, deals with filmmakers. So, you know, we're looking for a range of content, anything from, you know, simply like webisodes and short form films, all the way to full length features. The genres can, you know, are a wide variety. So dramas, comedies, everything in between. And, you know, the one goal that we have here really is to celebrate and amplify Black creative voices. I'm really interested in amplifying the entire diaspora. So please reach out to me. My email is sales@Ramah, and that is RAMAH productions.com. And I would love to hear from you. And, you know, phase 2, that's coming. I'm just really feeling that is going to come sooner rather than later. So if you do have projects in development, if you even have a pitch deck, please feel free to email me that and we can schedule time to chat.
And we want to remind the folks again that this is Women's History Month. And we want to say very happy Women's History Month to our guest, Miss Tani Sylvester. She's a filmmaker from Ramah Productions. And guys, you got to try it out. You got to speak to her. Even if you don't want to work with her, just have a sit down with her, talk to her. You never know, you know, maybe she can help you or point you in a direction.
Yeah, and we have some. I'm gonna make some introductions. Zarian, you know, they did that. They have an actual deck. They did a featuring in Leimert Park last year, I think, and right now he's raising money. He actually started a logistic company, trucking company, so he could raise monies for his production company. Yeah. So he's out there doing that. But I just saw him post something the other day on his new logo, and then of course Angela with the Blue Productions, because that's what she's doing as well. I think she has some content already in that they've already done. They shot last year as well. So, and then you can take it from there, and I'll introduce you to Shannon, and you guys can do what you do.
Great. I love it. Keep it coming.
So I just went to Google and YouTube, and I typed Black Love with Zarian, and there's a lot of clips here. So check it out. Check it out, man.
Really?
Check it out. You never know. You know, they even have people in Colombia doing some of these Black Love films. So.
Yeah, he's got a whole team of people. I think Zarian's been in the industry for a long time, trying to make that stuff happen. He, you know, he's done his own. He actually helped Gilbert with mixing some songs and stuff together. He's a talented young man. And that's his passion. So we're going to make some introductions to you, and you can go from there. But it's been a fantastic time. I knew it would be. Great. You're our second women for Women History Month. Last week I did a replay, but on Robert with someone for that. So thank you so much for spending the afternoon with us. We so appreciate you.
And for those of you who are viewing this, and you've been watching us, patiently and dedicatedly. We want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Business Zone. This is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're on every Friday from 3 to 4:30, and we provide you opportunities to entrepreneurs to help you grow your business, help you find opportunities, contract, procurement, becoming certified, going over your books, going over operational procedures in your business, bringing on talent like our current guest today, Miss Tani Sylvester from Ramah Productions, and she is just phenomenal. Can't wait to see your work, man. Can't wait to see it. I'm very excited about her. Very excited about her, guys. And remember, just go to YouTube and subscribe. It's free. You don't have to pay anything. It's free of cost, $3.99. You just go there and you subscribe to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. Now, remember, if it doesn't say the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert, then it's not the real thing. Okay, just remember that. So you go there and you subscribe and like our shows, our videos while you're there. And remember, guys, we have over 700 videos of shows that we've done here online or in the studio. So you can check it out on anything entrepreneurship to help your business grow.
All righty. So, ma'am, thank you so much. And I'm excited. I can't wait till you move forward. I cannot wait to see what the future is going to bring to you. Oh, lost her.
You lost her.
Yeah.
All right, co-host. Any parting word, co-host?
No. We'll see you guys next week. I'm not quite. I think we may be doing a class and session next week.
Okay, sounds good.
But we'll keep. You'll know, guys. Just keep posted to our Facebook page and to our LinkedIn page, because the announcement will go up somewhere around midweek. So see you then.
And everyone, folks, we didn't get a chance to do our interview with my co-host, Miss Crystal Mitchell, but we'll do it next week, folks.
Now they know who I am, man.
No, they still want to know more. You're very intriguing to them, so they want to know more. So, folks, next week we're gonna do an interview with my co-host, the Superwoman, Miss Crystal Mitchell, Coach Crystal. Okay.
All righty.
So with that being said, guys, co-host, you have anything else you want to add?
No, we're gonna bid them a good afternoon. Enjoy your weekend, and continue to enjoy Women's Business Month, Women's History Month. Uplift the woman. Work with women. Let us all fly together, as the poem indicated and that I read in the beginning. We are amazing human beings. I have a quote that says, "A woman is the full circle. Within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform." That is what we do.
There you go, folks. And remember, a bird needs 2 wings to fly. That's the male and the female end of things, okay?
Right.
The yin and the yang.
The yin and the yang, exactly.
So we'll see you guys next week at 3 o'clock, the same time, the same channel, the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. We're out.
Awesome.
As a small biz pro, so we roll, using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, so we grow, using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman.